ask you about your book because this really is a terrific book. I'm not a person to buy self-help books, but I have this book. I'm going to read it cover to cover. And what I want to ask you about is, so this is basically a book about how to keep your brain healthy and active so that you don't have deterioration when you're growing old. Who does not want to accomplish this goal? And we have a limited amount of time, so I want you to go quickly through for me. So it turns out there are no superfoods, and I can't take pills to make this happen, correct?
That's right. I mean, the food, to get the good stuff out of food, you got to eat food. It's very hard to put it in pill form as much as we would like that.
What kind of foods?
Well, when we talk about brain food specifically, I think that there's a couple of foods that really come to the top of the list. As much as an apple a day keeps the doctor away, I think berries are going to be the food for the brain. And this is based on lots of scientific evidence, looking at how certain chemicals can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and what they do when they get to the brain. I also think that what I learned, and I learned a lot, I had a lot of fun writing this book over a couple of years, is that there's certain things you absolutely shouldn't eat. We know sugar, for example, we eat way too much sugar. We used to get sugar as human beings just a couple of times a year when fruit fell from the trees. I mean, even honey was protected by the bees. But we now eat about 130 pounds a year on average of sugar. The problem with sugar, specifically with the brain, is that the insulin system, the way that the brain actually absorbs glucose from the blood, is very, very sensitive. It can be overwhelmed quickly. So if you're eating too much sugar, you could be, in fact, taking a lot of energy into the body and starving the brain at the same time. So this is a critical point, I think, when we think about long-term brain health. This may have been a particularly toxic substance in terms of causing long-term problems like dementia.
All right, you say that rather than trying to do a crossword puzzle to improve your brain, talk to a friend. Explain what you mean.
Yeah, well, and this one is, I've gotten so much discussion about this particular topic. I think here's the way to think about it. Crossword puzzles are great, and there's lots of things that we do on a daily basis that are great. That is the practice makes perfect sort of adage that is true when it comes to our brains. But if you think about our brains, right now our brains are sort of functioning like we're living our COVID life. We spend most of our time at home, maybe go to the studio where you are, go to the grocery store, a few places. We know how to do those things really well. That's the practice makes perfect. Crossword puzzles will make you be able to get to these places very easily. But if you want to start to expand the number of roads in your brain, the number of cities, the number of places that you visit in your brain, you have to do different things. So doing something differently or different, period, can make a huge difference in terms of building up overall reserve in your brain. So again, crossword puzzles fine, but if you want to do something that could actually help build reserve, taking a brisk walk with a close friend, talking about your problems, that can make a huge difference. Eating with your non-dominant hand can actually start to recruit new parts of your brain that you otherwise wouldn't use. You have to think about this conceptually differently. Again, practice makes perfect has been the adage, but change builds resilience. Change builds reserve. It's a new way of thinking about how we actually improve the brain.
My last one, I mean, there's lots more in the book, but I want to get to one because, alas, it is a reminder that no pain, no gain. Probably the single best thing you can do for your brain is exercise your body.
This is probably the most evidence-proven thing when it comes to brain health. And it surprises people because you think of intellectual activities to improve your brain health. I understand that. But we know now, over the last couple of decades, you can grow new brain cells at any age. And the best way to inspire that to happen is actually through movement. And consistent movement, even more than exercise. For me, the human body wasn't designed to either sit or lie for 23 hours a day and then get up and go to the gym for an hour. It is consistent movement, and the evidence actually shows that a moderate activity, like a brisk walk, is perhaps even better than intense activity, because with intense activity, you're also releasing a lot of stress hormones that may be counterproductive. Brisk walking, as one neuroscientist said to me, is kind of like this activity that can release Miracle-Gro for your brain, which I thought was really interesting. You want these neurotrophic factors in your brain. Can't take it as a pill, can't take it as a shot. Simply moving is your best way to get there.
Sanjay Gupta, as you can tell, this is just a terrific, fascinating book. Please go out and buy it. Thank you. Next on GPS.